Hi, folks. I'm Gene McLoughlin. I'd like to introduce you to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. This is a program that permits the mayor to talk to you about things taking place in the township and introduce you to people making things happen in the township. Today, we're delighted to welcome our guest, Dawn Swoboda, who serves two roles here in the township. She's the acting finance director and also the tax collector. Dawn, welcome. Good to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And Mayor, always good to see you.
Good to be seen, Gene.
Okay. Mayor, if we could just touch on a couple of things, catch up. It's been a little while. How are we doing with Control Farm?
We're doing great, Gene. If anybody goes by there, see construction going on right now. They're in the phase 2A, I would call it. They're installing the bathroom facilities.
Okay.
So once they're installed, then we'll be allowed to open the park up for pedestrian traffic. They're putting the playground in. Wow. The infrastructure is being put in for the splash park, you know, in the phases that have to continue on in 2024. But we're moving along slowly but surely, and everything's coming along great. Nicole continues to get grant money to finance the project,
okay,
so
that
that's
helps.
great. That helps a lot, because as you know, projects today are very expensive.
Yes, sir.
Especially when you deal with big projects like that with bathrooms and playgrounds and a site of that size.
Right.
Nothing is easy and nothing is cheap.
Right.
So that's moving along great.
Mayor, I know one of your pet projects has been the golf course. How is that coming?
It's almost there.
Almost there.
If you would,
okay.
You can go on YouTube and look at the drone flyovers. You wouldn't know you were in Old Bridge when you fly over this course. The sands are white. The ground is all sloping, and the trees have all been trimmed up. Landscape is in place. The cart paths are in place. For what I know, as of today, the driving range should be opening up within weeks, along with the miniature golf. As soon as some of the amenities are improved, the roads and some electricity needs to get run to the buildings, and the water and sewer getting all hooked up at this time. So it's getting there. And the golf course, soft opening sometime in October,
right,
where people are able to go hit golf balls in a limited sense,
really
of course,
along.
no carts. But Gene, people have to realize this was a very ambitious schedule.
Yes,
so people say, when's it open? When's it opening? Well, they took something that usually takes 2.5 years. They condensed it into a year. Yeah. So I am not upset at all that we're talking about weeks as opposed to years.
It
was a very ambitious project to build a golf course in a little over 12 months.
That is doing something.
Very ambitious.
Absolutely.
A clubhouse and everything that goes along with it. As you know, the last council meeting, the council awarded the management of the facility.
They did.
So that's a big step in the right direction, actually getting management people on site that are coordinating all the efforts that goes along with running a golf course. And again, we're so fortunate
that's
to
a
have
tremendous amenity.
There's going to be an article about the course coming up in one of the premier golf magazines that I believe it's the first course in New Jersey opening up in like a municipal course in the last 20 years.
Is it really?
20 years. So how fortunate are we? It's been talked about for decades.
I know, a long time.
And we've been able to get it done. So, and though I'm not a big golfer, but I know we have a lot of golfers in town that can't wait till that's opened.
I bet.
And I look forward to going there and going to events and golf outings and just getting to meet people and talking to people and listen to people talk about their golf game. Some people are very passionate about it.
That's a favorite topic.
Yes.
Mayor, the other thing we had talked about last time is Mino Park is starting to spread around.
Yes, if people go in the back by Mino Park, it looks like they're building a new Yankee Stadium back there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it sure does.
We're installing 3 new baseball fields to complete the wagon wheel that was proposed, again, decades ago.
Right.
We're getting it done. And at no cost to the local taxpayers. That's all our ARC money is being invested into Mino Park. I thought it was important that the parks in our town be brought up to where they should be. One of our local sports leagues is going to be moving over into that park. That's going to be their home field, and just allow for 24/7 baseball and softball activities here in Old Bridge with the lights and the artificial surfaces. They're going to be able to use it all day and all night with tournaments. And it's going to be great for the children, our youth, our future here in town to get Mino Park finally built out the way it was supposed to.
It's been,
it was
it's been a while. I remember when it started.
And it was just money was always the issue. We found a way to get the money, and now we're getting it done. So it speaks volumes about the administration and the town council.
Mayor, one thing that I noticed when I ride Route 9 is the springing up of these new buildings in the construction area. What's going on there? They seem to have just popped up from nowhere.
Well, they came up rather quickly again. But keep in mind, they were approved in late 90s.
Yes.
So it's been a while since the approval, and I think everybody kind of forgot about the approval.
Yeah.
And now the construction and the market is the right timing.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a great benefit for the town. A brand new state-of-the-art ShopRite. I think one of the largest ones in the state of New Jersey. A state-of-the-art Target with e-tail and to go there in person. And I think an additional 10 pad sites out in the front with all type of amenities and restaurants to service the public. And then a medical office building is also going to be built there. So it's going to really, and that's what the purpose of that development was, to go in with the Oaks that's being built, the residential phase.
Yes, sir.
So these people are going to have direct access to all the amenities they would need from the Oaks and not have to get in their car and drive somewhere.
Where do you see this thing taking full place?
Sometime in 2024.
2024.
The buildings will be starting to begin open. They're, again, big buildings.
Yeah.
A lot of infrastructure.
Amazing. Every time you
fit
pass
outs when it comes to a grocery store. If you've been in these new ShopRites, it's
sir.
amazing.
Yes.
What goes on. And this one, I believe, is going to have an inside a restaurant bar type setting in this shop right here. So it's going to be a little different than other ShopRites in the state. It's a model I believe they took out from the Midwest.
Right. Okay. Dawn, I don't mean to let you sit there without making a contribution. We've talked a little bit off the air about taxes and billing and so on. And maybe you'd like to pick up the ball on some of these things. Sure. One of the things we had talked about was the what entities does the government tax for?
So besides the municipal taxes,
yes,
we collect for the Old Bridge Board of Education, Middlesex County Open Space, the Old Bridge Library, and 4 fire districts: Lawrence Harbor, Cheesequake, South Old Bridge, and Madison Park.
Wow. Dawn, who sets the tax rate that is billed? Who sets that tax rate?
Well, the tax rates are set by each individual entity, for the most part through their own budgets that are voted on by their governing bodies. For the library, it is a state calculation for the minimum amount we have to contribute to the library. It's based on 1/3 of a mil of the equalized valuation. So
when you say the government entities, you mean our government entities?
Our government entities. So the school votes on their budget, the county on theirs, the fire districts on theirs. Then they get sent to the state, where the state certifies the budget and their tax levy. The state then sends, after the state budget passes in the end of June, beginning of July, the state will send those certified tax levies to Middlesex County Board of Taxation, who then in turn certifies the tax rates to us that we have to bill based on.
And then you get to see the good news, Mayor, right?
Yes, we know how frustrating it is. We've talked about this on end as we go around and talk to residents, and and nobody likes paying taxes.
No.
But what they don't understand is that the municipal tax, as you said, is 18% of every tax dollar we collect.
Yes, sir.
And it's frustrating to be responsible to these other government entities, as Dawn explained, with having no say in how they operate.
Yeah.
It's almost like extortion. Here's our bill, go get the money and pay us. You know, it's frustrating, and I think it's frustrating for the residents. But we need to hammer home that this year, the Old Bridge entity, which is responsible for that, we actually lowered our taxes. We lowered them, which is unheard of in the state of New Jersey, while the other entities that we collect for and pay for have raised their taxes. So it's frustrating when we get the blame. And I'm sure the council feels the same way. As we walk around, oh, you raised my taxes $200. No, we actually lowered your taxes, $25. These other people raised them on 200 and something. So, $225. So it's frustrating.
Well, that's a good point, Mayor. What are the total taxes in the township this year?
Total, as far as the money we collect?
Yeah.
Well, Dawn has the numbers. We collect a lot of money.
Right, I know. That's what I was getting
We get to keep very little.
Dawn, what is the total taxes?
For 2023, the total tax levy is about $198 million.
$198 million, Gene.
Of that, the municipal portion is only $36 million.
$36 million.
Right.
And that brings us back to the 18%, I take it.
Correct.
But to that point, Dawn, you and I had discussed this off the air, and that is the school system brings up a lot of that money, right?
Yes, the school is the largest portion of the taxes at 57%.
57%.
57%. Wow. As we say, the municipal portion is 18%, and that is the only portion that township officials and governing body can control. Middlesex County is next at 17%. The fire districts are about 4%,
Yes.
and Middlesex County open space and the library are about 2% each.
Well, and Mayor, to come back to your point, you've got to do a lot with that 18%.
And we do. We've improved our services.
I mean, all
At
the
the same time,
organizations,
yeah,
all
we've
the
improved. We've increased our revenues. Our budget is what, 63 million?
66.9 million.
I'm going back. Yeah, I'm getting old. Our budget's 66 million, but we only collect 36 million in taxes. So the township actually earns another $30 million in revenue. When you put, when we give the budget presentation, you'll see all that. How we come up with the additional funding.
So you have to put money up for all these departments. Do people realize that? I mean, police, public works,
Our senior center, Parks and Rec,
senior center,
engineering,
community engineering, code enforcement.
Code enforcement, right? We provide all those services.
Yeah, do you think the public is aware of all this?
I don't believe so. Most people don't pay attention, as they say, but some do, and some really appreciate the efforts that we're doing. I hear that all the time. They understand, Gene, what challenges we face here as elected officials.
Dawn, if I may, do you see any new way of doing this? As the mayor is saying, a lot of this burden, people were puzzled by it. They question it. Is there any other way to do this that's more equitable, takes away some of this drama
As in not collecting taxes?
Yeah.
No. That's,
Couldn't each of these entities provide their own, the county, the school, etc.?
No. Throughout the state of New Jersey, it's required that the tax collector for each municipality is the one who collects these taxes on all of these entities' behalves.
And
in
there's
fact,
no likelihood that could change or be subjected to some kind of a vote or some kind of
nothing that
legislation,
I've heard of.
really.
Well, hopefully, Gene, we'll be working on that.
Yes,
Trying
sir.
to get that. But some states do, as you said, Gene, where these taxing entities send their own bills out.
Yeah.
They're responsible for accounting. Because as Dawn said, the 198 million that we collect, we have to account for all that. We have to do a lot. And we get no processing fees.
No, that's
so
it.
That needs to change too. We should get something for processing all that money and doling it out. And what's also, if we don't collect it all, we still have to pay the full share.
That's correct. We have to turn over to them, these other entities, 100% of their levy.
And we don't collect 100%.
So
don't collect
our
it,
collection rate is at 99%. For 2022, it was 99.49%, which you think is pretty high.
Pretty good, yeah.
But on that amount, 198 million, it equated last year to about 1.5 million in unpaid open
Which
taxes.
is additional monies Old Bridge residents have to pay for these other taxing entities.
Yeah, well.
So it's really a double whammy.
Okay, well, thank you, Mayor. Folks, we're getting ready to take a break. If you'd stay with us, please. We're talking about tax rates and tax billing here in the township with our finance director and our tax collector, Dawn Swoboda. Please stay with us, and we'll be back in a moment.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I am right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
gonna let you go.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to Old Bridge Outlook with Mayor Owen Henry. Today, our guest is Dawn Swoboda, who fills two roles here in the township. She's the acting finance director and also the tax collector. We're spending a lot of time, as you can hear, talking about taxes and what they mean to you. Dawn, if we can pick up from where we left off, please. We covered a lot of ground. Where did you see big increases and decreases in the taxes this year?
So percentage-wise, the largest increase was from Middlesex County open space tax, which was 11.84%, and the library, which was a 9.41% increase. However, those two entities, if you remember from earlier, only make up about 2% of the total tax levy. So while percentage-wise they're large, their dollar amount is not as significant. Middlesex County had an increase of 7.32%, and the school had an increase of 1.58%.
But is this to be expected, these kind of increases? Just with the economy and so on?
Some of them are, I have to say the county is higher this year than it was in previous years. The libraries is set, you know, based on that state calculation, the minimum amount.
Yes.
And in fact, we have asked in the past if the library agreed, could we give them less of an amount than the minimum? And the state's response was no.
Well, that's an interesting point. So you're mandated to give the library.
Right. Yeah, that's statutorily, you give them the dollar amount that, you know, it's calculated, as Son said. And Gene, as an elected official, I think any time you get close to or above a 2% increase, I think it should be raising eyebrows and flags.
Yeah.
To me, then, you know, in today's economy, we were able to lower our tax rate in today's economy, but yet we see other taxing entities having to raise their, you know, their income that they need to just continue on. We've lowered our taxes and improved services, where the county has raised their taxes and decreased services. They still have not resumed from what they did pre-COVID. We are supplementing their transportation system here in Old Bridge. Middlesex County, you know, transportation is not up and running yet. So here they've cut services and raise taxes.
Wow.
The state can be blamed. The state can be blamed for the Old Bridge School District's rate increase. They reduce state funding to Old Bridge,
right.
which is a tax increase.
Yes, sir.
Of course, they have to make it up somehow.
Right.
And the only way the school can make it up is through additional taxes. So the state is to blame for the school, that increase. And as Dawn said, because it's such a large part of the budget, the dollar amount is a lot. The county, they were the largest dollar amount, Dawn?
Yes.
So it's a substantial amount of more money you're paying to the county for less services. You're paying a substantial amount of money to the school board for the same services because of the influence that the state has had with the school funding. And they don't continue to reduce state aid here in Old Bridge unless we can, figure out something to do in Trenton and do an equalization. Stop punishing good districts and rewarding bad districts.
Yeah, that seems so inconsistent and unfair, too.
Not to get off on a tangent, Gene,
no,
but it's
but
unfair
that's okay.
to the residents of Old Bridge.
Yeah, I mean, that seems unfair. And why does the state cut back like this? Don't they recognize entities that are doing a good job?
Well, they have a formula that nobody understands yet, not even them. Okay. If you ask them for the formula, we don't know. But you're going to get less money this year. So it's just a crime around a lot of towns in the state.
Wow.
And some towns have been rewarded more money, just to our north. I won't mention any names, but they have got a big increase in state aid. Why was Old Bridge reduced? That's a tax increase on the residents of Old Bridge.
It sure is. I hate to use the word, but is this a political act?
I certainly hope not, but I'm going to find out.
Yeah. Dawn, what do you think? You think this is fair? I mean, can it be overcome in some way?
In what way?
In terms of
Dawn
straightening
doesn't
out.
deal in fairness. She deals in what's legal.
I deal in black and white with the tax.
She can't say you pay taxes, we don't pay taxes.
We'll forget about it.
Dawn has to collect it.
Okay.
She's got the title tax collector, and nobody wants that title.
Okay, no, you sure don't.
But as we had indicated earlier, the municipal tax rate actually decreased. I know I've been here for 15 years. I have not seen a municipal tax decrease in my time here, but between last year and this year, it went down 1.09%.
1.9. What about the average home? What is the average home experience?
So the average home in Old Bridge for 2023 is assessed at $155,606.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we talk about that assessment, people go, "Whoa, that's so low."
Yes.
You have to remember that the assessed value here in Old Bridge is only about 35% of market value. But based on the average home in Old Bridge assessed at the $155,606, the tax increase was $222.52 on the overall taxes, which is about 2.66%.
But what about the decrease to 1.09%? What happens to that?
Well, when you look at each, there's actually a breakdown on the left-hand side of the tax bill. So each resident could go and look at their own tax bill, and if they have last year's tax bill, and compare and see which entity and what it means to them, what increase or decrease.
And that's important, Gene. People have to look at their tax bill and they can see what they paid in 2022 and what they're paying in 2023. And they'll actually see the difference in each taxing entity. That's important, and that's how you can educate yourself.
Mayor, what does it take, in your opinion, to educate Trenton to do this in a more equitable way?
You want to be educated. You'd want to know. I hope you'd want to know, if you're paying taxes, you want to know who's getting the money and what they're doing with it.
Yes, sir.
So I think you have an obligation, a responsibility to educate yourself. And once you did that, I think maybe you'd take more action against the entities that need to be told or need to be, get their house in order. Like they tell us every day to keep house in order here in Old Bridge.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yes. And I don't blame them.
Are the residents aware of this reduction?
We told them as much as we could. Yeah. We put it out there in bold lettering on our tax bill.
It was part of our budget presentation back in March. There is an insert that goes in with the tax bills. And right at the top, it has a pie chart with the breakdown of the percentages of where your taxes go, and then also the increase or decrease between the current year and the prior year.
And it's human nature just to look at the bottom line.
Right.
Say, I'm paying more than I did last year.
More, yeah.
But you would have paid more. So it's
But
a catch-22.
It
but
sure
it's the
is.
position we find ourselves in.
It sure is, particularly the point you made that the other entities have actually raised prices and raised money, county, fire, and so on. They've raised their budget. And we've reduced our budget,
Yes.
which is a great tribute to the whole group here, to you and to Dawn and her troops. Great reduction. How do you educate the consumer?
We try as best we can, as we said, through like through the budget presentation. As far as municipal, I mean, at that point in March, April, when we're adopting the budget,
yes, ma'am.
That's the only real numbers we have. We don't have numbers yet from the county, from the school.
Right.
Really, municipal and library is all we have at that time. But come July, that is when everything's finalized, and that's when people get their tax bills. That's also when they're looking to appeal their taxes when they get the bill.
Okay.
However, the time to appeal your taxes is when the assessor's office sends out that little postcard.
Yes.
Everybody gets in the mail. They
Yes,
think
ma'am.
it's for income tax purposes.
Right.
It's not. It really just tells you what your assessment is for the year.
Right.
And it has instructions on the back on how to go about appealing your assessment. Because you don't appeal your taxes, you
And
appeal
also,
your
see,
assessment.
we're dependent on the state budget being passed.
Correct.
And the state budget wasn't passed until the 11th hour and 59 minutes.
Really?
So we were delayed, right? For so
Yeah.
long. In fact, our tax, we had to extend it 2.5 weeks
Yes.
because the state passed their budget at the last minute. And that delayed everybody else in getting their numbers and getting everything approved. And so in order for us to go out and bill for our taxes. So our delay was caused by the
By
state.
the state, yeah. You
Their
gotta-
lack of whatever you want to call
Right.
it.
Mayor, can I raise one question? At the time there was some discussion about reassessing
Yes,
the township,
it's coming.
and the COVID sort of put a blur on that.
Yes.
Is it still in the works?
Oh yes, it's really working. We are going out for proposals now. I believe for someone who's going to reevaluate the town. Should take place in 24, 25. But yes, we are moving. We were right going to move forward, and then COVID struck.
And then COVID struck. I remember that. We discussed it.
And
yes,
then we've
sir.
been getting extensions. But a few weeks ago, the state was here, and they said you shall proceed with your reval.
Yes, and that
So it's
falls
coming.
under Mr. Enright.
Yes.
Mr. Enright
Yes,
takes
it's a
it.
costly procedure that we have to pay for as taxpayers, but we've been putting money aside for that. So I don't think it's going to have an impact on the budget. In fact, we started the budget process for next year already now. We'll be meeting already.
That was my next question. When does the budget process start
It's
all
a
over
year-round
again?
process, but we sent letters out to all department heads to start preparing their budgets now. So we have meetings scheduled starting soon.
In October.
October, yes. So we'll be putting together for 24.
Okay, Dawn, I guess you're looking with great delight at that, huh?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Now, Dawn and Vicky do a great job. I mean, they have every penny. Every penny's accounted for, Gene, when we do our budget. And maybe that's why we're able to,
Yeah.
you know.
To do as good a job as you do.
I
You're
believe
accounting
so.
for all the money. Okay. Well, I want to thank you, Dawn, very much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you being here. Mayor, always good to see you.
Gene, a pleasure.
And before we go, just want to call attention to one fact that Old Bridge Day will be held this year on September 23rd. And it goes from noon to 5 p.m. on
Please come
December
out.
23rd.
Yeah, please come out and join us.
So please come out and join the party. Again, it was just Saltwater Day. We have another event coming up. Folks, this has been Old Bridge Outlook for this time. I'm Gene McLaughlin. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.